Hello all, welcome to the Pathophysiology lecture series, the Parkinson's disease. So we know Parkinson's disease is a neurological disorder. Generally it is occurred due to the neurodegeneration. So Parkinson's disease is an idiopathic. Many of the cases we cannot exactly determine what is the cause for the occurrence of the problem in a people suffering with this type of issue. So that's why we'll mostly consider this as an idiopathic problem. And very importantly, it is a chronic progressive neurodegenerative disorder. And mainly it is characterized by the four important manifestations. One is resting tremors. Whenever you are in a resting condition also, your hands used to shake. Okay, you will get a continuous tremors. The second important manifestation is muscular rigidity. So muscle stiffness will be there. You don't get an movement to do something. Okay, so muscle will be in that stiffy manner. The third important thing is the decreased movements. We also called as bradykinesia. So there is a problem in initiation of the movement and continuation of the movement. That's why we'll see very slow and decreased movements. And the fourth important manifestation is the postural instability. And particularly when we talk about the risk factors, already I mentioned age beyond 60 is a one important parameter. That's why increasing of age is a one important parameter for greater incidence of the Parkinson's disease. And the second important thing is the almost age of onset is going to be equal in both genders. But in a point of risk, particularly men have a little bit high risk compared with the women. And we know, so Parkinson's disease is clinically mentioned or called as a movement disorder. So here the motor activity is completely affected. So that's why we'll see three types of manifestations. One, motor manifestations. Two, non-motor manifestations. In a very advanced level, we'll see the cognitive dysfunction. So in a non-motor manifestations, mainly we used to see the manifestations like autonomic system related manifestations, sensory related manifestations, sleep disturbances are quite common, and cognitive, psychiatric. Okay, cognitive we used to discuss very specially also. This is a small picture I just mentioned to highlight where exactly the problem is starting and what are the key issues we are seeing in the Parkinson's disease. So the first important point we need to get in mind is the basal ganglia. So you can see in the picture also, okay, this is the basal ganglia and this is the caudate nucleus. So generally this basal ganglia is a rich site for the dopaminergic neurons. From here, these nigrostriatal pathways, they are just connected to the mesolimbical system, mesocortical system, okay, tuberoinfundibular system, okay. So these nigrostriatal pathways and these basal ganglionic regions are rich dopaminergic neuron sites. So that's why the dopamine availability is a key parameter in order to make good functioning of basal ganglia and nigrostriatal pathway. In a Parkinson's disease, we might heard also generally, there is an imbalance between dopamine and acetylcholine, and particularly the low levels of dopamine leads to the Parkinson's disease. So what exactly is happening is in a basal ganglia where it need good amount of dopamine for neurotransmission purposes, but low production of dopamine or maybe a damage of the synaptical vesicle may lead to the decreased availability of the dopamine in these areas. So that may lead to the decreased neurotransmission. This decreased neurotransmission later level, it progresses into a neurodegeneration. So that is how the problem will extend. So depend on the increasing of the problem, the complexity of the manifestation is going to be there. Initially we'll see unipolar type of manifestation, maybe one side or one part of body may just exhibit these tremors, okay, or a muscular rigidity. Gradually it will convert into a bimolar pattern, and where both sides of the body may get involved, and it may show the manifestations. And in a basal ganglia we have other sites like global pallidus, and apart from that substantia nigra, where substantia is situated at the base of the forebrain, and it's strongly connected with the cerebral cortex, thalamus, and the other brain areas. And the key function of this basal ganglia is the voluntary control of the motor movements. So motor movements will be completely managed by the basal ganglia, where due to the problem in dopamine availability may lead to the motor disturbances. Apart from that, it is responsible for the learning and doing the routine activities or routine habits. Okay, but as the condition progresses or worsens, slowly the person have behavioral changes. That's why we'll see psychiatric related manifestations, and completely person will lose association with the habits also. So because of that, dependency problem going to be there. Okay, eye movement issues we are seeing, and cognitive and emotional functions also will see disturbances. And in a basal ganglia, as I already mentioned, okay, where we have a striatum, it's composed of the caudate nucleus and putamen, and generally, and the third part is the globus pallidus. This globus pallidus, it contains three things. One is globus pallidus E, globus pallidus I, substantia nigra. Again, the substantia nigra, it is composed of three subsites. One is substantia nigra pars compacta SNC, substantia nigra reticulata SNR, and the subthalamic nucleus. Particularly, SNC is the key site. It is responsible for the more input of the dopamine into the striatum. So, but whenever there is a low dopamine, automatically this dopamine availability may get affected, and that may lead to the issues. So, in a coming two slides, I just mentioned about the key etiological parameters. One is environmental risk factors. As I already discussed, it is a idiopathic problem. We cannot exactly determine, but there are some hypotheses. One important is the environmental risk factor, where use of more herbicides and pesticides may increase the risk. Particularly, these herbicides and pesticides may contain these MPTP toxins, methylphenidate toxins are there. These methylphenidate toxins may affect the synovesical functioning, that may lead to the Parkinson's problem. Okay, and then apart from this, we have a increased oxidative stress. Okay, maybe there are different reasons for oxidative stress: lipid peroxidation, or more free radical generation in the body. So all these things will increase the oxidative stress. Oxidative stress will again act as a factor. So genetical factor, where it is the one important reason. We have one important protein is there, alpha synuclein protein. This alpha synuclein protein is responsible for the a correction of the misfolded proteins, and it is very important for the synovesical membrane to maintain the synovesical membrane integrity. So whenever this alpha synuclein is mutated or damaged, automatically it may fail to repair the misfolded protein, and the second thing is there is a problem in the synovesical functioning also. So when synovesical functioning is failed, automatically the storage of neurotransmitter may get affected, and different metabolic disorders are there or infectious diseases are there. So these risks also may act, okay, but we cannot determine exactly how these things are related with the Parkinson's. So then in some patients we'll see the drug induced also. Maybe a person is suffering with the psychiatric problem. In order to manage psychiatric issue, schizophrenia or other mania like conditions, we'll go with the antipsychotics. Prolonged use of antipsychotics may lead to the decreased dopaminergic action that may lead to the again motor disturbances. Okay, particularly haloperidol, chlorpromazine, thioridazine, okay, perfenazine. Okay, these are typical antipsychotics. They have a high risk compared with the atypical antipsychotics like risperidone and olanzapine. Antiemetics like metoclopramide or prochlorperazine, they may have a very little risk. Okay, that is also, that's not that much serious. Okay, then about the pathogenesis, as I just earlier mentioned, there are four important factors. One is genetical, where alpha synuclein protein gene mutation. The second one is the environmental factors, where more exposure to these MPOTP toxins or other thing. So then oxidative stress, okay, and abnormal kinase activity. So these are all the different parameters may plays a key role in the pathogenesis, and that may lead to the occurrence of the Parkinson's problem. And one more important parameter is whenever this dopamine synthesis may get affected because of dopaminergic neuron damage, slowly the melanin containing cells in the substantia nigra may also get damaged. Because of the damage of these melanin cells, there is a possibility for the increasing of the acetylcholine levels. Increased acetylcholine is another parameter for the occurrence of the tremors, so or rigidity. So that's why in a management also we will go with the anticholinergics to control that. And in some cases we'll see some Lewy body formations also. In this picture you can see, so Lewy body, maybe it's like a mass, okay. In a particular neuron, this is like mass will be formed, okay. So because of this body, Lewy bodies, there will be neuron damage. Because of neuro damage, there will be neurodegeneration, okay. So these are all the different factors. They will act on the neuron, and they may affect, some may cause the neuron damage through the oxidative stress process, some may damage through because of the abnormal gene mutation, some other may cause due to the endocytosis process, okay. And this is the key pathophysiological process for the Parkinson's disease, where the first important thing is the critical, where of PARK1 gene mutation, there is a possibility for the misfolded or alpha synuclein protein, okay. And the second thing is the mutation of the PARK2 and mutation, the failure of the misfolded protein handling. So these factors may lead to the more damage or disruption of the synovesical membrane or a synovesical functioning. So because types of disruption, the catecholamine storage and release may get completely affected. So that only leads to the neurodegeneration. Because of neurodegeneration, we are getting the Parkinson. Apart from mention some